Hey everyone, Soundwave 884 here on the Transformers Legacy Review. And this review, take a look at this guy. Legends Class Shockwave. And he's pretty much a downgraded version of the Leader Class Shockwave we got in Siege. And this is a box, the packaging. How I so love the window packaging here with no plastic. Because, when you put these things in packages, this cardboard here, it gets very thin, very easy to crush, and there's no support with the plastic. People can get in there with the little dirty fingers and just rip everything right out the box. Very much, it's a lot easier for them to do it with this kind of packaging. But I understand why they're doing it. But hey, when McFarlane crams in as much plastic as possible in their packagings, their boxes are freaking huge, full of plastic. This little bit of plastic here, I mean, compared to that, But I guess you got to start somewhere. You can start small. So that's out the way. Out of the box, you're going to get your instructions to show you how to transform. Right? Hey, don't worry. He holds this radar dish. I will get the signal for the cable. Don't worry, Lord Megatron. Alright, that's your instructions. And here is Shockwave in his vehicle mode. Yes, I'm starting in reverse because why? I want to. So he makes a nice little jet here, spaceship with a big ass radar dish on top. Now, his arms, he does get this little syndrome back here. It's actually supposed to be like this in the back. But it just, stands out. So what I've chosen to do is just fold them down. But, that kind of gets a little bit in the way when you put them down. But you can always just tuck them away like this. And it makes the back end, kind of messy looking. But, whatever floats your boat, you're not going to see it as much anyway because it is the back end. Very, very much purple. It's just the silver splashes here and there, but, they could have done something here, maybe painted pink, something you can actually probably do. But with transformation, you might end up rubbing some of that off because it's going to come over that. We have the silver radar dish here with the red paint on the inside. And we get this wing section here, which is very reminiscent, like I said earlier, of the Siege Shockwave, the little add-on pieces you could do. So he makes a very nice looking, I think, a spacecraft. It kind of reminds me of something you'd be like a huge actual ship that this comes right in based on this big ass dish up top. But hey, it's the legend scale. This is how it looks. But overall details on this are fine and dandy. Well, I have a song. That's from my Christmas song. Mother fudge sickles. I turn to the back. We get like more silver. Like I said, get the ugly ass end back here. Pretty much straight up purple, silver splashes, what you can get in remote mode. Just this big red stuff on the dish is what really stands out on this figure. We'll do some quick comparisons with the old Combiner Wars version of Shockwave. And here they are together, both spaceships, and they're both different in their own right. The purples of the plastic, of course, totally different. I prefer the purple here on the Legacy Shockwave over the purple that's on the Combiner Wars. Both make little spaceships. I think that the Legacy accomplishes that a little bit better, but they also could do other things like this. Now, just as Combiner Wars Shockwave could be held by the Combiners, Bruticus, or your other Transformers case features a 5mm port, this Shockwave here from Legacy also has this port down here, which you can easily just pop into anyone's hand who supports this. And again, he can be wielded by another Decepticon. Now, he does have these little bitty nipples sticking out here, but no, I can't get any of my blast effects to actually get on that and stay on that. They just fall right off. And Combiner Wars Shockwave has the same kind of little nipples. And again, yeah. It ain't staying on. Alright, we've come to the most important part of the video, the transformation. Is the most important? Really not. Alright, what we're going to, reason why the arms are the way they are back here, which I show what you can do, is because they have these little tabs on them. They stick right here on the forms. They actually tabs in these little slots up here. That holds the back section down a little more sturdy, but if you turn the hands away, you lose that tabbing. But if you're not doing a whole lot with the alt mode, you're not really, you saw me playing around with it, you didn't see anything really move. It just depends on the quality of your figure and how well you want the back ass end to look. Well, we're going to untab those from that there so we can get the back section free. Take off his radar dish. This little peg here on the gun, this peg is right here, and that gets that there. Come down here to the legs. We're going to separate the legs, open them out, open them all the way out. Turn the figure around. You can see where it's going to be the front of the figure We're going to pull this down. As you do that, his head will be exposed because it's underneath all this. Pull his arms down, turn him around this way. You get the Decepticon symbol facing the front. Like that. And rotate him at the elbow to get his arms situated correctly. You're going to bring this down. You see there are these 2 tab slots here, 2 tabs here. This is going to lock in on his back. This is just going to fold down so, and this is just going to fold in on his back like that. Come down to his legs, spin them here. Then you come down here to his crotch. It doesn't really tab in. I don't think it's supposed to. It's more friction, but just you want to bring that up and over like this. Mine doesn't stay on very well. And then resituate his hips back down. And it comes untabbed very easily. We don't want to try to move his legs. You see it's already loosened out. It doesn't really catch very well on mine. I don't know if it's supposed to have an actual catch there or not. So that would be the most frustrating part of the robot mode, is that always his crotch always comes loose. He's got a loose crotch. And you take his radar dish, peg hole, go right here into his peg hand, my God, into the peg hole in his hand. And you have him trying to get the better reception. Now, with the radar dish part, with the big thing there, you can actually shove a blast effect over that. So that works. And also on his little hand cannon, that will also take... make a liar out of me. No, also take blast effects as well. You bitches! Look at the robot mode. Like I said, a lot of purple and a lot of silver. You got some silver paint. He's pretty much molded in purple plastic, and things are just painted silver here. So he's got a lot of paint, a lot of silver paint applied to the figure. But I actually think he looks really good. I have no overall complaints about the figure. Maybe it's just the smokestack looking things on the back, which are just from the back of the wings in jet mode. Pretty hollow, but these have to be hollow for the transformation. This right here didn't actually need to be hollow or inside the legs. But, you know, people who don't like the hollowness, I can see that bugging some people. Doesn't bother me very much. He is a small, you know, $10 figure. I'm not too fussed about it. Now, I do like the head sculpt on Shockwave here. Nice little yellow eye. Almost sort of greenish in color. I think it's because the paint on the purple plastic kind of throws off the yellow a little bit. It's got a little bit of a backpack, but it's nothing too gaudy here. It fits perfectly fine here in this figure. It doesn't throw any portions off whatsoever. It's a nice, lovely looking figure. So let's go over the articulation. As you see, I took the radar dish out because I really don't care for that as a weapon. You got ball jointed shoulders, and you got this little hinge here for transformation. So you get lots of movement there, and you can get this movement right here. Ball jointed elbows. That's where you can get your swivel as well. It's 90 degrees. 1, 2, focus. You get head turns. You can't turn it all the way around. You get to there, which is still a cool little pose. You can get that little comic book cover out of that. There is no waist articulation on the figure. You do have ball jointed hips. You can get the full splits. Kick forward pretty far, back pretty far. Also because this crotchals comes unhinged a lot. It's going to come out. Deep knee bends, as you can see there as well. No ankle tilts on the figure, no wrist articulation. So that is your articulation you're going to get on Legacy Core Class. I think I'm calling them Legends. I think they call it Core Class now. So I'm sorry I'm calling it probably the wrong class this whole video. Core Class Shockwave. A comparison with the old Combiner Wars and Robot Mode, which I didn't really have much problem with. I didn't really care for the hot pink on the figure. But overall, it's still a nice looking Shockwave. The one thing that this Shockwave I didn't like too much was the tiny, tiny head, which is something that the Legacy Shockwave really gets right there. So that looks a lot better. And we'll go ahead and throw in the Studio Series Core Clash. God, stand up! He's got loose hips, like I said, or a loose crotch. So it throws them off sometimes. The Studio Series Core Class Shockwave right there. So that's a nice little trio of Shockwaves. All are fine in their own right. The Takara version of this one would be a lot better than the Hasbro version. But with a tiny head, I really don't like that. And yes, blast effects actually do work on the Combiner Wars. If anybody was wondering that, you can actually get a blast effect to stick on his little hand gun there. So that is pretty cool. If you have that and don't want to upgrade, get blast effects, it will work on that. And They're all really cool looking Shockwaves, especially I think the two on the ends here. And here he is next to Siege Shockwave. I forgot what great light piping this figure actually had. Really good looking next to each other. You can see he's just more of a scaled down version of this guy. And I just forgot how much I actually like the Siege Shockwave mold. I just didn't really care for the Siege Shockwave price point. So if you want a mini scaled down version of this guy here is a good pickup. I really like this figure. I see no problems with this Shockwave. It's a nice Legends class Shockwave. And for 10, 12 bucks, it's a good pickup. Anyway, thanks for watching. Till the next ones. Peace out.